value of it a ton. Even just with my Ningxia Red orders, I was spending like between 16, 17 bucks on shipping each time. So this is super awesome. So it's free shipping on a 100 PV order. And then, you know, the other tiers are the same, 190, 250, 300, occasionally 400. But yeah.
When does it start?
Now, today.
Oh, yes. I
Yeah.
need Ningxia Red, and I was going to order 8 bottles, and I'm like, oh shoot, I should have ordered them last month because I didn't know when they were going to start the free shipping. But
yeah, this month. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so exciting.
Somebody that did have a while ago, they had extended it to August 31st. If you have any left over, they'll be putting credits on your account so that you can pay for, you know, stuff.
Right.
Yeah. They did that already.
Yeah. Whenever there's any type of change, there's always going to be people that, you know, some people just love it and embrace the change, and some people are like, change what? Yeah. So just, I think just focusing on the positives of that, I think that that's huge. I know that especially for new people, shipping with anything, people are always like, yeah, but I don't want to pay shipping, or they'll purposely like wait to order until whatever, or, you know, if this can, sometimes people don't bump their orders up. They'll be like at 88 or even 98 PV. And I'm like, dude, like a little bit more and you get a free gift. And then they look and they're like, oh, which brings us into what we're talking about today. They'll be like, oh, I have so many of that oil, I don't need that oil. Or I don't even know what to do with that oil. But to bump up for free shipping, most people will then do that. So I think that it's going to be so valuable, and cut down on a lot of the, I have so many oils and I don't know what to order, so I'm just going to come off ER altogether because I don't even know what to do with the things that I have. So that's a little bit of what we're talking about today. Is we've got our premium kit, now what? And trying to figure out, you know, what is the next step from, because it's not, we love our oils, but there's so many more facets to this lifestyle that we talk about all the time. But just kind of like trying to launch us into thinking more through and helping, maybe we're already there, but helping other people and helping with what to say to other people to help them see the value in ditching and switching and what that means and why they're wanting to do that. It's really important that they understand why, because if you just say like, oh, well, I switch and I get my toothpaste here, but they're still like, but it's really easy for me to just get it here, so I'm just going to do that. If there's not a why attached to it, there's usually not motivation to change a behavior. When we're understanding why we're doing something and the value and the benefit it's bringing to us, then we're more motivated to be like, you know what, I am going to do that. I personally think, I mean, especially if you're on Essential Rewards, there's motivation enough of the fact that, like, I don't know any other store that rewards people the way that Young Living does to switch their stuff over. But if they're not seeing that initially, or they're just like not getting that, they really need to understand the why of, you know, you have to figure out what them. Some people, you say free and that's enough motivation. Some people it's like, yeah, great, it's free, but you know, they don't know. If they don't know, they don't know. And if they don't know what they're missing, then they don't know why they want to change. Do you agree, Deb?
Yes, absolutely. I absolutely agree. Yeah. And I think a lot of people think of Young Living as just oils, and they don't realize that it's really a whole lifestyle. And I feel like I did a disservice the first couple of years that I was in Young Living of just talking oils. And it's like, so many people that I know didn't realize, like, oh, you can get toothpaste, and oh, we have laundry detergent, and, you know, skincare and baby care, and, you know, the list goes on. So I think, you know, I've had this conversation the past couple of days with people. It's like, okay, like we, you know, they're like, I have so many oils. I said, that's exactly what I don't want you to say to me. I don't want you to, you know, I don't want you to have a bunch of oils that you're not doing anything with. I want you to, you know, use the products that you have, you know? So that's why I was like, okay, this has got to come up again today, you know? And you were talking about the ditch and switch. I don't know if you've all seen that form that I have here. It's the transfer buying form. So basically it goes through all the products, personal care, skin care, vitamins, babies, lifestyle, weight management, household, healthy cooking, blah, 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 blah. So you check off everything that you use, and then you flip it over, and on the other side is all the Young Living products that you can purchase for yourself. So this, I find, is a great tool to have when, especially when you're having that conversation with somebody. So I've put a few of these in the mail just recently to people that I'm talking to. I'm like, here, this is like a great way to start.
Yeah, I started putting that in, and Cindy she scanned it. And so she has a digital, so you can even like send it over Project Broadcast and send the 2 sheets so that they can print out themselves or whatever. But I try and send one of those out to new members. And I try and space it out. Like I have a little welcome kit that I send,
Right.
but if you send it once and it's just overwhelming, so I space it out, and something a little bit later, like, hey, you've been with Young Living a month now. These are some of the areas, and they can kind of go through room by room, or they can go through and just kind of see, what are you already buying? What can you get over here? And then we've talked about this before too, but then keeping on budget, how do I make that work in my budget? So it's just that relationship, continuing the conversation, so that people aren't turning into one kit wonders, because then it's just sad, because this isn't just about making like a quick buck on a fast start bonus. It's about somebody to see the value in the lifestyle. So there are different, it's okay.
That's not how you do it.
I'm sorry, hold on one second. 1 per column. Columns go
I
down.
know. Look, one for there, one
Yeah.
for there.
You're doing it right, bud. Yeah. All right. Sorry about that. We're having a little meltdown in the back seat. Okay. So this is, there's several versions, or, like options out there, I should say, of different kind of welcome books. Whatever, if you're sharing with somebody and you've enrolled somebody, even if you're not, considering yourself a business builder, I feel like it's your responsibility to empower them with tools that they can have in their possession, that they can start learning about what they have. So any type of welcome book, I really like this one because it goes over like the full spectrum lifestyle. It's not focusing on just oils or just whatever. It goes over supplements and everything. But there's a page in here in the beginning where you check, and first of all, when you are in here, it says, why did I get my kit? So it's helping them to understand, what kind of things was I looking for? And so I tell my new people, like, take a picture of that once you filled it out and send it to me, because then that helps me to target more on the education of like helping them figure out what they have access to, right? And then the very next page, it goes over how the body works, right? And I mean, some of this might be like elementary stuff or whatever, but sometimes we just forget, right? Not everybody had, Debbie and I took extensive like anatomy and physiology information, with our training for massage therapy. Not everybody has that, right? And so we never want to assume that somebody just understands how the body works, because sometimes, depending on their walk in life or their education or whatever, I mean, we know basic things, but it kind of just goes over the different systems in our body, so that when we're educated and we're talking about things, we're all on the same wavelength with trying to understand why it's important to support those areas. Not everybody realizes how strong of a connection there is between the gut and the overall immune system, or when you use too much hand sanitizer and you're completely taking off any bacteria out of your skin, you're literally taking away your body's initial barrier, right? So not everybody understands that. So this is just like an interesting, just a good like quick bio lesson introduction. And then it goes into ingredients to avoid, right? And where they're found, why it's there, the health effects, and then other names that they can be hidden under. So for instance, formaldehyde, it's found in shampoo, body wash, and bubble bath. It's and more, they're just going to tell you a few highlights. It's there because it's a preservative in cosmetics. It helps increase their shelf life. The health effects are that it's a carcinogen linked to asthma, neurotoxicity, developmental toxicity. It's something that they use to embalm dead bodies. I mean, and it's also hidden under DM, urea, bronopol, and just the term preservatives in general. So it goes over more of them. So when people are starting to connect with okay, these products, this is what we're looking for, you know, fragrance, synthetic flavors, like all that kind of stuff. We're starting to understand not only what to look for, but why it's in there and why we want to avoid it. So you can say all day long, like, oh, the fragrances and whatever. But if somebody is like, well, I kind of like the way that smells, and they're not understanding, you know, like I used to like the way certain things smell too, but I like so much more my body functioning, right? And I can recreate that scent a different way with something that's not doing the harm to my brain and body. So I think that this is like just a really good tool. And then one more thing, and then the next page, it goes over the Young Living difference. Because a lot of times I get people saying like, oh, well, yeah, I already use clean XYZ in my house, right? Which is great. That's awesome. You're already, you know, you're already halfway there. And not saying that Young Living, is the only company that you can ever buy from that has clean stuff. But I'm like, here's what's awesome about it. Here's our difference. Now you can apply that same comfort to like 800 products versus trying to now find, you know, you can have one product that's really clean in a manufacturer and then like 10 that are really bad and another really clean. So you're constantly having to go through and vet every product. And then every time there's a merger or a sale of said company, and then they go in and reformulate stuff without you knowing, they're banking on you trusting that brand, right? So it's really, it takes just a lot of time and effort to constantly be going through all of that. So with Young Living, when you vet that seed to sale process, which is really important for you as a consumer, but also if you ever are sharing with friends and family, for you to really know that process, because it's what sets us apart. There's so much that goes into that. So Debbie and I have both been to some of the Young Living farms. And what I love is that whether I've been here in the States or abroad, that process is the same everywhere, right? And it's really important to know the levels of integrity that our company has to make sure that that's something that stays top priority. So I love like, I mean, this particular book, but there's other similar ones, you know, there's the Welcome book, and there's, you know, there's other ones out there, but I love the flow of that in the beginning, that it just starts off right from the beginning showing this is the house and why is that this is important to do this. Because when somebody understands and grasps that, then they're going to be applying that to their life more. Than it's like, then they're more than just products. They're also health tools that are keeping us well, right? Longer, that are investing in our health. And it's not just toothpaste anymore. It's what I'm not putting in my body, what I'm not putting on myself is just as important as what I am using. Does that make sense?
I would say absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head right there. So I was just curious with if anybody on the call would be interested in chiming in, like something that they've started using that made a difference in their life, that they used to buy at another store and now they're actually getting it from Young Living. So I don't know if anybody wants to chime in and kind of share. I'm going to quiet for a minute just to see if anybody jumps in. I don't know. I think we might have just a lot of shy people here.
Janice says she can't type because she's on at the
doctor's, I think. Yeah, Janice is at the doctor's. Okay. Well, I also have another book in front of me called Now What? And it kind of goes through very similar with the different areas in your life, you know, in your body, the digestive system, and it kind of gives you a little bit of information on the top about the digestive system or the endocrine system, and then it talks about not only the oils, but about the products. So this is another great book. I don't know if you've all seen the new book they're putting in. The Welcome Kit or the Premium Starter Kit is awesome. And it goes through a lot of the oils and products in there. So that's another great, and the magazine this time around is wow, like fabulous. So if anybody can get their hands on the new magazine, I do like a flip kit. So when I get the flip kit, I open it up and I read the magazine before I send it off. And it's got some really beautiful things in there. The way they've done it is great. And some great information. So those are books they're actually now starting to put in with our kits. I think even more information than when I enrolled many years ago. So I'm trying to think what else I'd wanted to say, but there are tons of tools. And I guess the whole thing is really empowering people and really looking into and having a conversation with somebody when they're saying, okay, now what? What do I want now? It's like, well, what's going on in your life? You know, like, are you having any issues with anything? Whether it's physically, mentally, you know, what tools can we use that are within Young Living that can help you live a better and healthier life? And really kind of getting really personalized with that versus generalized, you know. And then again, like you were saying, explaining to somebody, you know, it's not about what you necessarily put in, but it's what you're not putting in. So
yeah, I love the What book to give people who have sports for a little bit, because it really goes through and you can either do it with them, you can give it to them to do, but you can look at whatever system they're looking at. So for instance, I looked up into the reproductive system. So it gives them, it gives them a little bit like what it includes. It includes your sex organs, which are required for the production of offspring. It gives you vitality oils and supplements that can support that system. And then it goes through and talks about complementary products as well, that, you know, outside of those things. Then it has like a 4-month wellness plan. And it says, be sure to sponsor to personalize your 4-month plan and calculate your PV to maximize your ER. Because as we're teaching people to order, it always kills me when I see people order like 98 PV and miss.
I know.
So when we're saying like, hey, reach out to us and we're going to help you, you're not begging us. Okay. Your people are not begging, like your members or whatever. It actually makes it harder on us if we try to fix something after the fact. So reaching out before you do something and saying, hey, this is what I was planning on doing. Is that the best course of option? We're not going to look at your order and see it at 98 PV and be like, well, you are planning to spend 98 PV, but what would be in your best interest would be to spend 300 PV. But we're going to look at it and say, hey, you're really close to getting free shipping. Let me help you do that and add a lip balm, right? We're not looking to price gouge you. We're looking to help you maximize your rewards and maximize what you're getting. Or like if we see you getting something, we're like, hey, I see you're ordering this. Did you know that we have this product that might save you a little bit of money? Like, you know, for instance, a bottle of Stress Away, say you're replacing that, and we see that you have the roller in there. Well, the difference between the roller, which is 10 milliliters, and a 15 milliliter of Stress Away is $1. $1 difference, and you get 5 more milliliters. And then you can make your own roller, right? For that extra $1, a roller top on an empty bottle. And now you have a roller and 10 extra milliliters to put in your diffuser or replace your, you know what I mean? So reach out and ask, because it's not, you know, we may not know all the answers, but after both, you know, 6.5+ years of doing this lifestyle, we've learned a thing or two about how to save money, how to maximize your orders, how to, you know, get the most bang for your buck. And I personally, I just love passing that information on to people so that they maximize it too, so that they don't have to learn as hard of a way that I did on some of the mistakes I made. So it's just fun because it goes through and it'll tell you like month 1, these are the things that you can order. This is an example of what an order would look like. And then they get to then play around with it and see what best there. And then it goes into like different things like feelings and emotions, and different things for emotional health, which is super important right now. So it's just a great little extra tool. This one is you can get at lifesciencepublishing.com. They're the ones they have a lot of really great resource tools. They are the ones that I gift the app for the reference book to people, and there's like an actual book. That book is going out of stock. So if that's something that you want to stock up on, like not out of stock, like they're not carrying it anymore in the hard copy. So definitely stock up on that. And this one you can get at inspiredsharing.com. This is a resource in a section in a series with like the book Propel, Oil, Share, Repeat, the essentials. There's even some free tools on there, like digital tools. And sorry, I'm going to turn this way so I can see them walk. All right, love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, sorry, going into their acro class. All right, so this has some other like free reference tools, and now she just wrote another book, and it's really cute actually. It's like a picture flip book that you could like read to your kids, but it actually, I mean, it has some recipes in there and some good information, so it'd just be good for like a family, you know, if you have a new family or something like that, because it's going to give them some oily education as well as just like a fun story to read to the kids.
That's cute.
Did I read what Stephanie said? I saw in the chat, she said, a product that helps us is the soaps with skin irritations with all 3 of my kids. Cindy wants to tell us her experience. We'd love to hear from you, Cindy. Are you ready to talk?
Sure. Yeah, I just wanted to share this experience. I had this infected finger, and I took a picture of it and sent it to my daughter in Texas. She's a nurse practitioner, and she says, "Oh, Mom, you're going to need something internal. It's pretty bad." And it was like the inside of my finger was puffing up out over top of my nail, and it was very painful. Well, I tried Neosporin, which did nothing. And I thought, well, I'm going to try my oils. So I asked Janice to advise me on which oils I should try. She told me, so I put Purification and then Tea Tree consecutively. 2 days, it was completely healed up. I was just totally in awe.
Yeah. Yeah, they can do. So I don't know if you noticed my
Your boo-boos?
hair, but we had to stay at my mom's house. Our air conditioner broke. So we go over there, and I was like doing her dishes, and I went to reach in her sink to grab a cup to put in the dishwasher, and I didn't see there was a knife laying like long ways face up, and my fingers slammed right on it. And there are Cutco knives on top of it, which are super sharp, like super sharp knives. So I was like, oh, and it was like, I mean, really bleeding everywhere. So I put on Helichrysum is like basically like super glue for skin. So I had Owie close by, which is in there, and I put it on, and it never ceases to amaze me too, like how quickly. And even the next morning, like I'd put some frankincense on there, lavender, and then I put animal scents, and then put the Band-Aid for more pressure. It was already like within 2 hours, like sealing up. It was no longer like oozing. I mean, typically a bleed like that, I mean, it wasn't deep enough for stitches, but it was, they were both bleeding pretty good. So yeah, I love just even this many years in, I'm like, that really worked and super awesome.
It is amazing.
Yeah. And the purification takes the place of like, so typically people are putting Neosporin on there because it has like an antibacterial factor to it, right? But a lot of those like that, Vaseline, Aquaphor is something that I used to use a lot. I get a lot of things taken off my skin at the dermatologist, and they would always give me a sample of Aquaphor to keep it moist, yeah. Right? You're supposed to keep it. Well, the interesting part is that a lot of those are petroleum based. So when we're talking about why we don't want to use them, one, antibacterials, if you overuse them, then the bacteria just get stronger, and they won't work anymore, because it's like, nah, we figured out how to like beat that. Petroleum base in it is literally, petroleum is a gasoline byproduct. So you're literally putting gasoline byproduct on, the carcinogens and all. And then like in a thing like Vaseline or Aquaphor, what it's doing is it actually pulls moisture out of your body, and it kind of sits on the top. So it gives you the illusion that it's staying moist, but in the process of it pulling the moisture out of your skin, that's why like those chapsticks and stuff, sometimes you'll like put it on, and at first it feels all great, and then you're like, oh, I'm feeling really dry, and it literally creates a dependency because it's taking away that barrier. So when it wears off, you're feeling the moisture that's left your body. So something like, replacing them with the oils, you're removing a lot of that extra stuff that isn't serving you. And you're still accomplishing the same goal, right? You're still keeping it clean. You're still aiding your cells and like pulling and giving your brain a message like, hey, we need to send some more help there to repair and reset and heal up that area. And then with something like an Animal Sense or even coconut oil, you know, it doesn't have to be a Young Living product, but coconut oil is a great thing to lock in the moisture, seal in, all that kind of stuff. So I love that you got that. I just saw
Thanks
chat.
for sharing, Cindy. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. I enjoyed sharing it. I was just so excited about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think you all know that I had a little bike accident at the beginning of July, and I did a number on my face, and I actually knocked my front tooth out, and I saved it. And I was amazed. I doused myself. I had oils with me. I brought to the emergency room, and I was dousing myself with lavender and cobaiba and frankincense, and my eyes healed up so quickly. Everybody was blown away. Within 6 days, they could not believe what I looked like between the 2 days. I'm like, I've been sitting on the fence, like, do I dare share what I looked like? Because I felt like I looked like an absolute mess, and I had broken a bone, or I fractured the bone between my nose and my lip. I did this July 5th. And I saved my tooth, and everything is healing up beautifully. And I look at those oils and I say, that's what helped me get through this. You know, I was icing and my vitamins like crazy. I mean, and I do all Young Living vitamins. So, but what a huge difference it made in my life. It was like, yay, like I got my oils to help me through this.
That's why, so last week we were talking about oil preparedness and like, you know, when you're going out of town or whatever, like don't ever just be like, oh, it's just a couple days, what could happen? Or just even out, like I have a whole slew of oils right in this bag because legit, you never know what's going to happen. So just like you'd have like a little first aid kit or whatever, make something up and bring it with you, even if it's like, you know, lavender, frank and Digice, like, you know, just to start with, and then you add on. But that's even with Valerie, when we did all this stuff and like we're healing up her stuff, it was healing so quickly that the lawyers were even a little bit like, okay, could you like lay off of how quickly you're fixing her?
Wow.
No, that's not my priority. My priority is fixing her. But that Stephanie was mentioning that the Now What book really helped her mother-in-law. And then Mariah was saying that tea tree is huge in her first aid for sure. She's using them on different piercings to keep them from infection. And then she wants to chat about a few things that she's been using. So are you ready to talk?
It took me a second to figure out the camera situation on my phone, but so yes, we were talking about oils and how we've been using them, and how it's made a difference. So I started to like, everyone's getting all that mask acne because we're having to walk around and like wear them, and I was starting to notice like these bumps I was getting all over my face. It was really, really, really bad, and I'm like, oh. Sorry. We're learning how to sit up without falling back here. It's okay. Oh no. Oh, who's that baby? Who's that baby? Oh no. Okay, so I have been using frankincense and lavender and a toner. I've been taking like witch hazel, distilled water, and putting it on my face once in the morning and once at night. And what it's been doing is it's been protecting my face. And it legit has been working so wonderful. Like I put frankincense, I put it everything now. Everything that goes on my face gets frankincense. And with him, we've been using eucalyptus. Because, you know, boogers and congestion that he gets, I'd put a little dots in the diffuser that I don't have in his room right now. I think I might have put it in our bedroom, but, and a balm, like I made a balm with it and rub it on his chest, and he absolutely loves it, and it helps so much. But yes.
Want to have things that'll help. He's so cute.
He's a booger.
Thank you for sharing with us. That's awesome. He's so cute too.
Thank you. The baby.
So nice, so empowering as a mom, especially that, it's one thing when we're dealing with ourselves. Sometimes it's easy to brush things off and be like, oh, whatever, it's not a big deal. But when you're in control of somebody else's life and what's going on and making all these choices, it ends up being really hard. But then it's so empowering when you can do something that you're like confident, like, okay, this is going to help you and I don't have to worry about long term, is this like hurting you? And when you see how it's working, even on yourself, like frankincense, holy cow, for your face is amazing. It's been used for thousands and thousands of years. So really good choice there. I always add it to my moisturizer, the Art moisturizer. I add like 20 drops when I get a new bottle. So anybody else have anything fun to share of things outside of the kit that they figured out, like slowly switching over, or, like started out here and now I'm figuring out that this works for this, or how to figure out what you need next, what kind of tools you're using?
So unless somebody texts or raises their hand or anything, I actually brought a couple of products up to my office to kind of share with everybody that people may or may not know about, that I've been using and that I buy pretty much either every month or every other month. Right now I've got my daughter home from college. She's doing virtual online. So she's here, and my husband and myself. So there's three of us going through product like crazy. So Ningxia Red is one of the biggest ones, obviously, that we all take. My husband and I just about every day. So that's super, super important about just antioxidants. And I know we've talked about that a lot on this thing. But MindWise is another big one. Now, Alzheimer's and dementia runs in my family. Now, I'm not saying this cures that by any means, but this is all about brain and heart support, the MindWise. So I'm all about preventative. I don't know if it's going to do it, but in my opinion, for me, it's like, it's not going to hurt me. So I take this every single day, and I now give it to my husband. He's finally open to like taking better care of himself right now. So I'm piling it on. And my dad and my mom both take MindWise every day. And my mom just said to me just the other day, I really feel a difference when I'm taking it and when I run out. So if any of you have any of that going on in your family and are about preventative, I believe that this helps my body and supports my brain and my heart. So MindWise is a great one. It's used about an ounce, tablespoon a day, just a tablespoon a day, not an ounce. So it lasts about a month and a half or so, depending on how many people you're using that for. So that's a huge one to put on your ER. And if you're just can only do like 50, that covers like 1 month. Like boom, right there, you're done. My daughter's really big into exercising. So AminoWise is a product. It's a powder that she puts in her water, and this helps just muscle recovery and enhances your performance. So she uses this a lot. That's another one that probably people don't even realize exists. Excuse me, hold on 1 second.
Do you know where the sunscreen is?
Sunscreen is out. There's some
Okay.
Young Living in the bathroom downstairs.
Okay, thank you.
So sunscreen, she's going to the beach with her friends. She's looking for a sunscreen. I'm like, yep, in the downstairs bathroom. Sleep Essence is another product that I know a lot of people swear by, that really helps them if you have any trouble sleeping. It's a little, it's like a little gel. Whoops, where'd he go? Just like a little gel form. Really great, and helps people just get a better night's sleep. So Sleep Essence, so many people have issues. So it's all about calming and supporting your whole mental and physical being with trying to get a good night's rest, because you know how important that is. Thyromin is another one. This is all about supporting your thyroid. And a lot of people, this will help maintain and support your thyroid, no matter if it's out of balance in any direction. So this is a really good one that I keep in my house. It's one at night they suggest. I'm just kind of whipping through a bunch of these things that I have here. Prostate health. for the men in your life. My husband takes this every night. Now, I think a lot of people didn't even realize that that even exists. So I've got him doing this, and you know, it's like, again, it's like, what if? This is helping support our bodies and keeping our bodies at the optimals we can. So, you know, all the food that we eat, a lot of the stuff now doesn't have all the nutrients that it used to because of all the things that, you know, the soil is just not the same as it was many, many years ago. So all these little things are going to help, especially if you're not eating correctly. So men, prostate health. What else do I have here? Life 9, right? This is a probiotic. It's like all over the TV, even though I'm not a big TV watcher. So many people are there in the yogurt, and it's here and it's there, and do your probiotic. So Young Living is great. And I'm sure Jen is great at giving even more details about some of these products than I can probably tell you. But really, really great stuff. And, you know, there's all kinds of tools out there online where you can learn in detail more about these products. But I mean, instead of going to your local store and getting a probiotic, if you feel like you need that for your digestion, why not get it from Young Living? Because you know that it's a good quality and it doesn't have any crap in it. Let me see, I'm gonna go whip through another one or two. The Super C. I was just reading about this, like it has over 2,000% of what we need every day, whether it's the chewable or the capsules, it's got more than what we need every day. And I do not like swallowing pills. I'm just not a pill swallower. So I do most of my stuff either chewable or powders. So I use the chewable vitamin C. Love it. Also, the Sulfurzyme. Sulfurzyme comes in powder and pills. So my daughter does the capsules. And my husband does the capsules. I do the powder. So, you know, when I'm buying every single month and I'm trying to support all our body's health and everybody's taking this stuff, it disappears so quick. It's so easy for me to hit 300. It's crazy. But I know I'm taking care of my body. I'm helping my family take care of their body. And I know I'm getting great stuff and I'm doing it right from my own pocket and supporting, you know, a lot of the people up me and around me and Young Living and good healthy stuff. And I'm not having to go to the store to get this. So that's that whole transfer buying. I see a lot of people write notes and I can't read and talk at the same time. But I kind of covered a bunch of little different things. The multi-greens is another great one with all kinds of stuff in here. I can't remember all the little things that are in here, but this is another great one that we use. And then ImmuPro, this is another chewable. This is great for little ones. It supports not only your immune system, but it also is great for, I think it has melatonin and it helps you sleep. Hopefully everything I've said has been compliant. I've been trying to stay there. I'm not a doctor and I don't diagnose but I do suggest. So I'm gonna be quiet and read some of the notes. Jen, if you want to jump in and maybe you've been reading while I've been talking.
I was the one typing the notes. I was typing what you were saying so people can save the chat.
Okay. Oh, great. Okay. Awesome. All right. So you've been typing. Okay.
Yes. So she just shared like a ton of really great things. And I feel like for the people that are having a hard time and saying like, okay, I've got a lot of oils and I really don't know what to do with them, reach out because we can help you to make up some first aid rollers or some, you know, things for bug bites or, you know, a mask roller or something to help with your breathing or something to help you sleep, like for the immune system so that you can be having these things on hand and ready to go. Because I'm sure that you have a ton of things on hand that you just, or like look in your app, look in your book and look up what you have, look up some of the free stuff you got and see, because you'll be amazed to see the crossover uses of things that you have on hand that you didn't even realize, like, wow, I didn't realize I could be using this for this and this and this and this. So there's a ton of things that you can do and make DIY and keep your costs down your budget. And then as you're doing those things and you're using up and you're not having to spend any more oils, now you can take and free up your budget and say, okay, what things, you know, do I use in my bathroom every single month or my kitchen or in my vitamin supply that I'm already buying somewhere else, that now I can, you know, make a few of these other, you know, I can make my own, you know, face wash or toner or whatever with some of the oils that I have. Am I breaking up, or can you still hear me?
We can still hear you. You did break up a little bit. We can hear you though. You're good.
Okay. Wanted to make sure. But so when you're doing that, you know, when I was first starting with this, I was on a very tight budget. And so before my orders were paying for themselves, I had to really be careful. And so I was doing a lot more DIY. I was doing a lot more things, or there's specific things that, in my opinion, for me, didn't make sense to be doing a DIY because it was so inexpensive to buy it pre-made. So in terms of like the Thieves cleaner, it's 5 cents an ounce. So it wasn't worth my time or effort to be making my own cleaner when I could use something that already worked super well and was super inexpensive. But then there were some other things that it did make sense for me to be, you know, making my own and doing things like that. So you kind of have to figure out your own budget there. But when you start to free up and move things around, especially if you're somebody that is buying supplements anyway, this is where we talk about that transfer buying and the ditch and switch. This is what this means. You already have a budget, right? That's already something that you're budgeting into your cost. So a lot of times I know that sometimes we, or like our spouse, if we're not understanding what we're spending, and it looks like, oh, all of a sudden there's a new bill in town. And why are we now all of a sudden spending all this money over here? And they're not understanding that over here, we're no longer spending money. We're just switching where we're spending our money. So the whole goal is just switching. Like the average home spends between $50 and $150 a month on things that are essential needs: mouthwash, toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner. So if you stop buying them from Young Living, you're going to have to, or the other way, like if you're like, oh, I'm spending too much. Well, those needs don't go away. You're still going to be buying them somewhere. So it's just figuring out, you know, if you need to figure out budget wise, like, okay, I can take some of the oils that I have and make my own toothpaste, and that cuts down, or I can make my own laundry soap and that cuts down the cost. And now I can free up over here. And I was spending $50 a month at GNC, and now I'm going to switch it over and get those things from Young Living, so that you're still keeping within budget. You've lowered your output in terms of the DIYs that you can do. And then you're putting that investment back into your own health with getting more quality products in terms of supplements. Because sometimes just because something has a big price tag on it, or it's bought from a store that says health store or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that the value of the product is really there, that it's a high quality. So price doesn't always reflect value or quality. And that's a hard pill to swallow, like pun intended. Sometimes there's reports coming out that certain products, they started filling them with sawdust, or adding different additives, different preservatives to keep them on the shelf longer. So if the whole goal, it's kind of like somebody switching away from using, they're like, oh, I don't want the, you know, switching to Thieves cleaner, and like, I want to remove some of the stuff in the air, right? And I want a cleaner product to clean with, but yet they still have plugins and candles going in the whole house, you know? So, and sometimes, you know, it's baby steps. People have to understand. That's why I was talking about going through and really educating somebody on the whys of what we're doing and why we're doing it. It's not just like, oh, we just want you to not ever shop at you know, Bath and Body Works or whatever. It's not like a vendetta against that, you know, any one particular whatever, but it's just about what we're allowing into the threshold of our house, and then how it's affecting our brain, our emotions, our body, our long-term health. Sometimes people can experience very short, quick onset symptoms and realize like, wow, that is not working for me. And it's very apparent to them. And sometimes we're so used to being dumbed down to all this stuff that we don't even realize the damage that it's doing. And sometimes it doesn't present itself until later, right? And then it's too late. You know, we've already got cancer and we're dealing with stuff, and now we're trying to backpedal and figure out things. Or like Debbie said, when you're doing things every day, that's that preventative mindset. That's that ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, of like, hey, just because I'm doing these things does not mean that I'm never going to get sick or that I can never, face a trial. But it means that in the meantime, like, I'm working on my preventative health. I'm giving my body tools to use so that if something comes up, 9 times out of 10, your body is going to be able to deal with the situation. It's not saying that like we're all going to get sick. We are all human here. Like, every one of us is going to one day die, hopefully not for a very long time. But that's what that goal is that where it's a different shift in mindset of, would I rather wait and do whatever and then pay $150 for a copay and some medication when I get sick? Or would I rather take that $150 and spread it out over, 3, 6 months, 12 months, and start little bit at a time doing things that are investing and prolonging and making my body run well. So hopefully that was helpful to you guys today.
I think we did good. I had a quick question for you, Jen. We were talking about sunscreen, and you had told us in the past on another call about stretching the Young Living sunscreen. What did you actually do with that?
Yeah, there's a post in my thing. I can't think off of the top of my head, but basically there's a Flairosol bottle. I want to say like maybe some coconut oil, the sunscreen, and there's optional, like some people like to add carrot seed oil to that or lavender, but you basically then like shake it up and you can turn it into like the Flarosols is one of those like continuous air sprays.
Right.
And it falls like a mechanical spray. So it just makes like application a little bit easier, and then it spreads out. Because the actual sunscreen, when it's cool, like if you keep it inside air conditioner, if you're trying to put it on inside, it hardens and it's a little harder to spread, but in the sun it gets warm really quickly and then it's like much easier to spread. But yeah, budget wise, that's just another way to help it spread out a little bit. I'll tag you in my group so you can share yours if you want. But the same people do that with the insect repellent as well, to make it just to make it last a little bit longer.
Awesome. Awesome.
It is.
Awesome. And, I don't know if you did a post about the fennel with breastfeeding. You were giving me some information about that, and I'd love a little more detail on that if you have time to just pop that to me.
I don't know if I have a separate post on that, but if you have the Gentle Babies book, that's a great reference tool. Okay. And not for people with babies, just for family. There's a lot of just information that's good for all a range of ages in there. But that's a really good tool. But basically, yeah, the fennel helps to increase supply.
Right.
And then it's also really great. It's in Digize. If I don't have Digize by itself, it's one of the ones that we've gotten free in the past. So I keep that in the bathroom because it's really good for just like stomach upset and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah. But yeah, for fennel, they can be rubbing it right on the breast and then also taking it internally with their capsules pressed through their mouth, under a tongue. But yeah, the consistency of that is key with wanting to, up the milk production.
Okay, cool. All right, I think, does anybody else have any other questions or anything? I think we're looking good.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
thank you. And if you're a part of my team, we've got Oily Underground tonight going over the promos, and then the other, check the virtual events for the rest of the week, and then we'll see you back here next Tuesday. And I'm really happy to have Debbie back.
Glad you're back again. All right, everybody, have a great week, and we'll see you next Tuesday, if not before. And thanks for taking me on that. I appreciate it. Have a good enjoy your day, everybody. I'm going to stop the recording. Where are you?